Commander Virel moved slowly through the dead halls of Craxhold Station, his footsteps echoing in a place that should have been full of noise, voices, and life. The air smelled like burned metal, sharp and bitter, and every wall he passed was melted or twisted as if exposed to a heat no weapon in the Dominion could create. Lights flickered weakly, throwing long shadows across ruined corridors. The station had been the pride of the Crax Dominion, an iron symbol of strength, on the very edge of their territory. Now it was silent, empty, and terrifying. Virel stopped beside a broken support beam and ran his hand over it. The metal was smooth like glass. Something had heated it so fast that it didn't even explode. It simply flowed and cooled. He had never seen anything like it. No species in this region used weapons that could cause this kind of destruction. Not even the old powers from deeper space. Whoever did this to Craxhold had technology that did not match anything in known records. His team searched the ruins around him, but they hardly spoke. There was nothing alive to find, not even bodies. That made it worse. 30,000 soldiers, officers, engineers, and staff lived here. They should be here even if dead. But the station was empty, as if everyone had been erased in an instant. A young officer approached him with a trembling voice. "Commander, we found a message recording." Virel followed the officer to what used to be the command center, a massive room with a broken ceiling and melted consoles. Everything was destroyed except for one scorched data stick still blinking with a faint blue light. A technician inserted it into a portable reader. The device crackled, the screen flickered, and finally a single audio file opened. It was short. Only one sentence. "Do not strike the humans." Everyone in the room froze. Humans, the new species, the newcomers, the small, strange, unpredictable people from the blue planet. They had only been part of the galactic community for a few decades. They were considered weak, clumsy, and inexperienced. Many races laughed at them. The Dominion ignored them. And yet here, in the ruins of the greatest fortress in the sector, the only surviving message was a warning about them. Virel replayed the recording. The voice belonged to the chief officer of Craxhold Station, a calm, professional man. But in the message, his voice shook with fear. "Do not strike the humans." Virel felt something cold crawl up his spine. What happened here? He whispered. The officer at his side swallowed hard. "Commander, do you think humans did this?" He didn't answer. The idea seemed impossible. Humans did not have ships capable of approaching Craxhold without sensors detecting them. Their weapons were primitive compared to those of the Dominion. They were peaceful, mostly staying around their own planets and avoiding conflict. They were not aggressive. They did not start wars, and they had no reason to attack the Dominion. But facts did not lie, and the ruins around him felt like a silent scream. Before he could think further, his wrist palm vibrated. A message from the Imperial Palace. Direct orders from the Emperor. Virel stepped away from the others and accepted the call. The Emperor's hologram appeared, tall and wrapped in shimmering royal armor. His voice was full of pride, full of certainty. "Commander Virel, prepare the border fleet. We march on Earth. It is time to show these newcomers their place." Virel's stomach tightened. "Your Majesty, before you commit to action, you must hear there is nothing to discuss." The Emperor interrupted. "Reports say humans are expanding too quickly. They must be corrected. We will send a message that the Dominion rules this region." "Majesty," Virel said carefully, "Craxhold Station has been destroyed." The Emperor raised an eyebrow. "By whom? We do not know. But the only message left behind states a warning about humans. We should investigate before." "The humans?" the Emperor repeated, almost amused. "You think the humans destroyed our greatest outpost?" "Impossible." Virel tried again. "Majesty, I saw the station. This was no normal attack. It was fast, clean, powerful. If humans have such weapons..." The Emperor cut him off with a sharp wave. "Humans are weak. Their ships are weak. Their minds are weak. They could never take Craxhold. You worry too much. Virel, prepare the fleet. We strike soon." The hologram disappeared. Virel stood motionless, staring at the burned ground beneath his boots. He knew the Emperor was proud, stubborn, and greedy for glory. But this time, he was not just making a risky choice. He was making a fatal one. A loud crack echoed through the ruined hall as a piece of metal crumbled and fell. Virel looked around at the dead, empty station again and felt a sense of dread that he had never experienced in his entire career. If the humans truly destroyed Crackshold, then they were not weak. They were something else, something dangerous, something the Dominion was not ready for, and the Emperor, in his arrogance, was about to start a war with them. Virel closed the data stick recording one last time. The single message repeated in his thoughts again and again. Do not strike the humans. He looked out through a shattered window at the dark stars beyond and whispered to himself, Emperor, you are going to get us all killed. The ruins around him stayed silent, as if agreeing. Commander Virel returned to his flagship with a tightness in his chest that did not leave him. Even after the ruined shape of Crackshold Station faded from the viewing screen, the border starfields felt colder than before, and the bridge crew watched him with nervous eyes. Everyone sensed that something about the station's destruction was wrong, to clean, to fast, to complete, but no one dared say it aloud. Virel sat in his command chair and stared at the Emperor's last message, replaying silently on a small holoscreen beside him. The Emperor's confidence burned like a bright flame, but to Virel, that flame felt more like a torch waving over a barrel of explosive gas. Strike Earth, teach the humans a lesson, make them fear the Dominion. It sounded simple. Too simple. He opened restricted files collected over the last 20 years, reports from scouts, spies, traders, and military patrols who passed near human territory. At first, he expected nothing unusual. Humans were known to be friendly, unpredictable, emotional, and sometimes strange, but hardly threatening. But the first report he opened surprised him. A small human mining ship had been attacked by pirate raiders. The raiders had better weapons, more ships, and more experience. Yet the human ship fought back, not with advanced tech, but with strategies that no simulator predicted, maneuvers that should have been impossible. With such an old vessel, the raiders were wiped out completely. The last line of the report sent a cold spark through Virel's mind. Do not provoke the humans. Their instincts are dangerous. He opened the next file. A trade convoy attacked by smugglers. Humans again. The smugglers lost all 5 ships in 13 seconds. 13 seconds. The human escorts had reacted before the smugglers even finished their warning message. Another final note. Humans entered a state they call combat focus. They become extreme threats. A third report. A fourth. A 10th. Everyone ended with the same advice, always written differently, always carrying the same fear. Humans are unpredictable. Humans adapt too fast. Humans fight like they have lived through endless battles. Do not start a conflict with them. Virel leaned back, tapping the side of his chair. None of these reports reached the Emperor. Or perhaps they had, and the Emperor ignored them, believing fear of humans was weakness. The Dominion culture did not admire caution. It admired strength. It admired control. The Emperor wanted glory, and humans were a target easy enough to justify, but distant enough not to anger any major powers. That was the plan, at least. But Virel knew the truth. Plans fail when they ignore reality. He sighed and closed the files. His communicator buzzed again. Lieutenant Marrows approached from the side, holding a datapad with trembling claws. Commander, I have a message from Central Intelligence. You requested older exploration logs from before humans joined the galactic community. Let's see them. Virel opened the oldest log, dated nearly 50 years back when humans were not yet known. A Dominion probe had scanned their world, noting primitive technology, warlike history, unpredictable behavior. A simple observation. But near the end of the file, Virel found something strange. The probe had detected a human satellite broadcasting emergency messages for years. Messages covering disasters, conflicts, tragedies, and most alarming victories. Humans celebrated winning even when the odds were impossible. They fought each other for thousands of years and survived every era. They were used to suffering. They were used to rebuilding. They were used to adapting faster than anyone else. Marrows cleared his throat. Commander, what are you thinking? Virel rubbed his temples. I think we have underestimated them. Every report suggests humans grow stronger under pressure. If we attack first, they will not break. They will rise. Marrows shifted nervously. Should we warn the Emperor again? Virel let out a humorless laugh. He refuses to listen. He wants victory, not wisdom. The bridge fell silent. The stars outside shimmered like cold sparks. Virel stood and walked toward the viewing window. He imagined Earth, a small blue world far from this quiet border. He imagined what they might do if the Dominion's proud fleet suddenly appeared above their home and fired on them. He imagined the answer written in every report. They would fight back, and they would win. I have reviewed old reports, Virel continued. Humans are not weak. They are something else, something unpredictable. Every past encounter ends with warnings about their ability to survive, adapt, and destroy threats. If we strike them, we may wake a force far greater than expected. Captain Raller frowned. Commander, are you saying we should disobey the Emperor? No, Virel said. We follow orders, but we prepare differently. We assume the Emperor is wrong. We assume the humans will not break. The officers stiffened. His words were dangerous, but necessary. If this war begins, Virel said quietly, it will not be a simple victory. It may be the end of the Dominion as we know it. A long silence followed. Then one by one, the officers nodded, fear settling in their eyes. They understood. They respected him. They trusted him. The meeting ended, but Virel remained behind, staring at the glowing map of Earth's star system. A small world, fragile-looking, but carrying a warning carved into the ruins of Kraxhold Station. Do not strike the humans. Virel whispered, Emperor, you truly have no idea what storm you are about to call upon us. The Dominion fleet entered silent formation as the blue glow of Earth's star system appeared ahead of them. The ships stretched across space like a wall of armored shadows, their engines humming with quiet power. Commander Virel stood on his bridge, watching the tactical screen slowly paint the outlines of human territory. He felt the tension running through every officer, every crew member like a wire pulled too tight. No one said it, but everyone knew they were heading into something unknown. The Emperor's official command was simple. Send a warning shot, destroy a small human outpost, and wait for humans to surrender. No full invasion, not yet. Just a demonstration of strength, a show of force. A message carved in fire. To the Emperor, it was nothing but a calculated blow. To Virel, it felt like pushing a sleeping predator with a stick. When the fleet dropped out of warp near Earth's moon, the human mining site came into view, a cluster of silver domes, storage tanks, and long tunnels carved into the rock. Small, harmless, almost fragile-looking. A few human workers in pressure suits moved around slowly, unaware of the warships now watching them from above. Virel felt his chest tighten. Commander, the weapons officer said quietly. Orders. Virel hesitated. He thought of Kraxhold Station, of smooth melted walls, of the single warning echoing in his mind. He thought of all those reports of humans acting with strange, frightening instinct. He thought of the Emperor's voice, full of pride. He had no choice. Fire a single warning shot. No casualties. The officer nodded. A thin beam of energy flashed from the Dominion flagship down toward the moon, hitting a mining panel and vaporizing a section of the surface. Dust exploded outward in a brief cloud. The humans below stumbled, shocked, but no one was harmed. A simple attack. A small strike. Still, the bridge felt colder after it happened. Send message to Earth, Virel said. Standard script. The communications officer transmitted it. A formal demand for surrender, tribute, and territorial restrictions. It was the kind of message the Dominion had sent to dozens of young civilizations. Most surrendered quickly. A few resisted and were crushed. None had ever scared Virel before. Minutes passed. No response came. A low murmur spread across the bridge. Human systems were fully awake now. Energy spikes appeared near Earth. Several satellites turned toward the Dominion fleet. A few human ships, small ones, lifted from the surface, but stayed close to their planet. Watching, the silence felt worse than a threat. Finally, a transmission arrived. It contained only 4 words. Last chance. Turn back. The message was spoken not with fear, not with anger, but with a strange calmness, like a warning from someone who had already seen the outcome. The bridge crew exchanged uneasy looks. Virel swallowed. Open a channel. I want to respond diplomatically, Before the channel connected, the sensor officer gasped, "Commander, something fast approaching." Virel turned sharply. On the screen, blips appeared at the edge of the system, dozens of them coming in at speeds Dominion ships could not match. They were 10 times faster than physics should allow. Impossible speeds, impossible approach angles. No known drive could perform those maneuvers. "Identify," Virel ordered. The sensor officer's eyes widened. Human vessels, no one spoke. The blips grew larger and more detailed. Human ships were smaller, compact, but their signatures were wrong. Too dense, heavy shielding, strange energy readings. Their engines pulsed with patterns that did not match any registered tech. One officer whispered, "Commander, this cannot be real." The human ships snapped into visible range, sleek, dark, with reinforced plating and glowing edges like heated blades. They moved in perfect formation, silent and steady. Not aggressive, not fearful, just certain. "Commander," the communications officer said, voice trembling. "They're hailing us." The screen flickered. Instead of a human face, an AI appeared, calm, expressionless, glowing with soft white light. "This is Human Defense Network Unit 7, it said in a steady voice. "You attacked our civilians." Virel stood straighter. This was a warning shot. "We did not intend casualties." The AI did not blink. "Intent does not matter. You initiated hostile action." A pause. "This is your final opportunity to withdraw." Several Dominion officers whispered urgently. Some wanted to fire. Some wanted to retreat. But before Virel could decide, the starfield behind the human fleet rippled like fabric being pulled aside. More ships arrived, larger ones, heavier ones, and something else, something entirely alien to Dominion tech. It looked like a station, but it moved. It looked like a ship, but it floated like it didn't care about gravity or mass. Its hull shifted with smooth curves and sharp edges, like a structure that rebuilt itself every second. Colors flowed across its surface, blues, whites, faint silver lines. Its energy output made the Dominion flagship feel like a candle next to a star. What is that?" the weapons officer whispered. The AI answered plainly, "Prototype human dreadnought. You do not have clearance to know more." Virel felt his knees weaken. "Humans built this. How? They are not this advanced." "Human development accelerates under pressure," the AI replied. "Conflict shapes us. Your attack triggered level 4 response protocol. No empire had even a level 3 automated response. Humans had a level 4. Virel raised both hands slowly, showing no threat. "We do not wish to escalate." "You already did," the AI said. "But we prefer peace. So this ends now." A pulse of faint light spread from the dreadnought. The Dominion fleet shook, shields dropping. The sensor officer shouted, "Weapons disabled. Engines offline." But nothing exploded. Nothing burned. No one died. The humans disabled every Dominion ship without harming a single life. They could have destroyed them. Instead, they chose restraint. That frightened Virel more. The AI spoke one last time. "Withdraw from human territory. Do not return. If you attack again, we will end your ability to attack anything." The transmission cut. Silence wrapped around the bridge. Every Dominion officer stared at Virel with pale, frightened faces. Finally, Virel whispered, "May the stars protect us. The Emperor has no idea what he has awakened." The Dominion fleet drifted in space like a wounded creature, silent and shaken. Systems flickered, lights dimmed, and every console on Virel's bridge glowed red with disabled warnings. Humans had done this without firing a killing shot, without shouting, without rage. They had acted with cold precision, as if they were swatting away a danger they had seen many times before. Commander Virel stood in the center of the bridge, staring at the human dreadnought that still hovered before them. Its hull shifted like living metal, waves of faint color rolling across its surface. It made no move to leave. It watched them not with weapons, but with patience, as if expecting the Dominion to make a foolish choice. Virel had never seen a ship look patient before. The AI's final warning echoed in his mind. "Do not return. Do not attack. Do not force us to end your ability to attack anything." "Commander," Lieutenant Marrows said softly, "repairs are impossible. They shut down our systems from the inside. No known technology can do that." They didn't just overpower us, the weapons officer added. They understood our systems. Every system, instantly. Virel felt the same cold weight pressing deeper into his chest. They scanned us, he murmured. In seconds, they saw everything, our weaknesses, our structure, our protocols. They knew exactly where to strike. And they didn't strike to kill, Meros said. That's what frightens me, Virel replied. Mercy means power. Mercy means they don't need to destroy us to win, before anyone could respond. The dreadnought pulsed again just once and every Dominion screen lit up. A message streamed across each display, not from the AI, but from humans themselves. This is the Earth Defense Council. You attacked our moon facility. We disabled your fleet. We choose not to destroy you. Withdraw, and the matter ends here. The voice was calm, almost gentle. It sounded like a teacher speaking to a child, but then the tone changed only slightly. If your empire chooses war, we will defend ourselves with full force. We will not invade, but we will make sure no Dominion ship can strike another innocent world. Leave now. The message ended. The bridge felt smaller. The air felt thicker. The officers stared at Virel, waiting for him to decide their fate. He exhaled slowly. Signal the fleet. All ships, prepare for retreat. No one argued. All ships, prepare for retreat. No one argued. One by one, Dominion vessels folded space and slipped away, leaving human territory behind. The moment the dreadnought saw them withdraw, its glowing patterns dimmed, and it turned back toward Earth. Like a guardian returning to its post, Virel watched until the dreadnought vanished. Only then did he let himself collapse silently into his command chair, hands shaking. The Dominion fleet reappeared far outside human borders. At first, the crew cheered they survived, but the celebration lasted only a moment, because as long as the Emperor existed, he would never permit retreat. He would see this as humiliation, and humiliation was something he answered with violence. Virel knew the message waiting for him before his communicator even buzzed. He stepped into a private chamber and activated the channel. The Emperor's hologram appeared instantly, tall, furious, radiating anger like heat. Commander Virel, the Emperor growled, explain your retreat. Virel kept his tone neutral. Your Majesty, humans disabled our entire fleet with one action. They demonstrated clear superiority in technology. A full-scale confrontation would have ended in total loss. Lies, the Emperor spat. Tricks, illusions. You allowed yourself to fear them. The Dominion does not fear. Virel felt a flare of frustration, but he kept it hidden. Majesty, I witnessed their capabilities. No trick can disable an entire armada without casualties. They have knowledge beyond ours. The Emperor slammed a fist against the railing near him. Then we simply strike harder, build bigger fleets, deploy heavier weapons. We will crush them. Virel stared at him. With respect, Majesty, that will not work. They are not a primitive world. They evolve. They adapt. They do not break. Enough. The Emperor roared. You will return with reinforcements. Tens of thousands of ships. We will attack Earth itself. Virel felt the blood drain from his face. Attack Earth. Attack billions of civilians. Attack the homeworld of the species that melted Craxhold Station without leaving bodies. Attack the people who built dreadnoughts that rewrote physics. He had never disobeyed an imperial command, but this time, obedience meant extinction. Majesty, Virel said slowly, if we do this, the Dominion may fall. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. You dare question me? Virel did not respond. Silence hung heavy between them. The Emperor leaned closer, his voice cold. Return to human space, or I will relieve you of command. The hologram vanished. Virel stood alone in the dim chamber, his breathing uneven. For the first time in his life, he felt something stronger than fear rage. Not at humans, at his own Emperor, at this blind pride that would doom them all. He stepped back onto the bridge. Commander, Meros asked quietly. What did he say? Virel looked at his officers, loyal, skilled, and terrified, and made a decision that changed the shape of his soul. The Emperor orders us to return with reinforcements and launch a full assault on Earth. Gasps spread across the room. Captain Raller whispered. That is suicide. Virel nodded slowly. Yes, it is. He paused, then added the words he never thought he would say, "And we are not going." The bridge fell silent. No one breathed. Virel straightened. "Prepare emergency encryption. Send a coded message to all border commanders. Warn them. Tell them the Emperor plans a war we cannot win. Tell them humans must not be provoked." His officers stared, eyes wide. "Commander," Meroz whispered, "that is treason." "No," Virel said softly. "That is survival." The crew looked at one another. Fear, uncertainty. But then something else struck. One by one, they nodded. And as the stars drifted slowly across the viewing screen, Virel understood what humans were truly capable of. They were not monsters. They were not conquerors. They were something far more dangerous. They were protectors who turned into storms when attacked. And the Dominion was about to challenge the storm. The war drums of the Dominion thundered across space long before the first ship moved. The Emperor's rage spread through every relay, every command hub. Every loyal officer who still believed his voice was the voice of destiny. He ordered a gathering unlike anything in recent history. 10,000 warships, a fleet so large it would blot out the sky of any world it passed. Factories burned with production. Dockyards filled with soldiers and automated drones. Engineers worked without rest. The Dominion built for war, and now it built for annihilation. Commander Virel watched this machine grind forward with growing horror. His own fleet remained stationed on the quiet edge of Dominion space, refusing to move. Running silent to avoid detection, on the surface, his ships appeared damaged, still repairing engines after the human disabling pulse. Secretly, they were simply hiding, waiting, hoping his warning to other commanders would spread fast enough to slow the Emperor's madness. Some replied cautiously. Some agreed to stay out of the conflict. Others were too afraid to oppose the Emperor. But many simply did not understand. They still believed humans were weak. They still believed the Dominion was eternal. They still believed glory required blood. Virel knew better now. Late one cycle, he sat in the war room alone, staring at a projection of the Dominion's growing invasion force. Ship icons multiplied like a swarm. Battle groups aligned. Command units organized prisoners and forced conscripts. The Emperor planned to crush humanity by sheer mass, by overwhelming numbers, by fire powerful enough to drown an entire species. But the Emperor did not understand the simplest truth. Virel had learned. Humans grow sharper when cornered. The door opened quietly. Lieutenant Meroz stepped in with a tense expression. "Commander, new intelligence arrived from the central network. You must see this." Virel turned, and Meroz activated a recording. It showed 3 Dominion scouts approaching the border of human space, acting on secret orders from the Emperor to test their defenses. The scouts had remained silent to avoid attention. The footage showed the scouts emerging from warp. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then a ripple appeared in space. Not a ship, not a station. A ripple like the fabric of space bending inward. A human ship emerged. Not a dreadnought, not even a large cruiser. It was small, compact, no larger than a Dominion destroyer. But its engines glowed with the same eerie shifting light as the dreadnought Virel had seen. Earlier, the Dominion scouts opened fire instantly. The human ship didn't shoot back. It simply moved. One heartbeat, it was in front of the scouts. The next heartbeat, it was behind them. The ship slid across space, like it was not bound by inertia or mass. Each motion left a faint streak of shimmering air, like reality was dragging behind it. Then 3 pulses of light. Not explosions, just pulses. The Dominion scout ships went dark. Every system offline. Every engine cold. Every weapon dead. And again, no casualties. The message that followed was brief. "This is your last warning." The recording ended. Meroz turned to Virel, face pale. "Commander, this is a single human escort craft, not a warship, not even a front-line vessel." Virel rubbed his hands over his face. "They outclass us at every level." What are we going to do?" Meroz whispered. "We delay the Emperor's fleet," Virel said, voice firm despite his shaking hands. "Even for a few hours, even for a few minutes. Anything that gives humanity time to react without being forced to wipe us out." The plan, he spoke aloud, felt impossibly small in the face of the coming storm. but he knew it was the only path left. Over the next few cycles, Virel secretly contacted officers who trusted him. Some agreed to slow their preparations, create errors, cause supply delays, or sabotage non-essential systems. None dared declare rebellion openly. It would have been a death sentence, but they understood the stakes. Every hour lost by the Emperor meant one more chance to prevent a galaxy-shaking disaster. But the Emperor was relentless. The day before the final launch, the Emperor summoned every fleet commander. By HoloLink, his face filled the room, larger than life. "Tomorrow," he declared, "we strike the humans with our full might. We will crush their defenses and bring their world to its knees. The galaxy will witness the return of true Dominion power." The commanders roared in approval. The sound echoed like a storm across every ship. Virel remained silent. The Emperor noticed. "Commander Virel, you encountered the humans. Tell us, are they worthy opponents?" His voice sounded like a challenge or a trap. Virel spoke carefully. "Majesty, humans are strong. They adapt. They react with great speed. They are unpredictable." The Emperor laughed. "All the better. The people love a glorious victory." Virel's stomach twisted. He bowed his head, hiding the fear in his eyes. After the meeting, the fleet began to move. Massive engines ignited. Thousands of ships drifted toward the edge of the system, preparing for the final warp jump into human territory. Virel watched from his bridge, helpless. "They're going to die," Meros whispered. "All of them." Virel closed his eyes. "Yes, they'll take entire cities with them. Yes." "Commander, what if humans decide the Dominion is too dangerous to exist?" Virel's eyes opened slowly. "That," he said softly, "is what I fear most." The countdown to launch began across all channels. 10,000 ships humming, glowing, waiting to plunge toward Earth. The Emperor believed he was about to claim the greatest victory in Dominion history. But Virel knew the truth. Tomorrow, the Dominion would face humans who had shown restraint. And if pushed further, they would show something else, that not mercy, not patience, but the burning fury of a species that had survived every kind of war, internal or external. For thousands of years, the Emperor was marching them straight into extinction, and Virel was the only one trying to stop him. But he was running out of time. The Dominion armada stretched across the void like a metal horizon, 10,000 ships glowing with the cold promise of destruction. Engines pulsed, weapons charged, officers marched in tight formations. The Emperor stood at the center of it all, believing this was the moment history would remember him as the conqueror of a new species. He saw glory. Virel saw doom. Commander Virel's own fleet hung behind the armada, systems still pretending to be damaged. In truth, they were fully functional. But he and his officers had agreed to remain hidden and avoid joining the Emperor's madness. They watched the massive formation preparing for its final jump into human space. On the bridge, silence stretched as the countdown ticked toward zero. "Commander," Meros whispered, "once that fleet jumps, nothing will stop humans from unleashing their full power." Virel nodded slowly. "I know. They might wipe us out too, I know. But if the Emperor succeeds with the jump, he won't," Virel said. "He believes power is numbers. Humans don't fight numbers. They fight intent." A tremor ran through the ship as the Emperor's flagship charged its warp core. The energy readings were so intense they rattled small tools and objects left unsecured. 10 seconds until jump, someone on the wideband channel announced. Thousands of crews across the fleet answered with disciplined replies. Virel took a deep breath. "Meros, open a private channel." To the humans, Meros froze. "Commander, if the Emperor detects, he won't. Our systems are masked, and we don't have time." Virel's voice hardened. "Open it." Meros hesitated only a heartbeat before obeying. A quiet tone rang out as the channel connected. For a moment, there was nothing. Then a familiar, calm voice filled the bridge. "This is Human Defense Network Unit 7. Identify yourself. This is Commander Virel of the Dominion Border Fleet." Silence. Then the AI spoke again. "You warned us before. You refused to attack. Why are you contacting us now?" Virel swallowed hard. "The Emperor is about to jump with 10,000 warships. He means to burn Earth, your cities, your people. I cannot stop him." His voice cracked. But I beg you, spare the civilians. Spare those who had no choice." Meros bowed his head. The AI did not respond for several seconds. When it finally spoke, its tone was softer. "We know of the Emperor's fleet." Virel blinked. "You know. Human sensors detected the buildup 3 days ago." 3 days? "Yes. Our monitoring systems extend far beyond our borders. We watched as the Dominion prepared for war. We analyzed every ship, every weapon, every energy signature." Virel felt his legs weaken. "Then you've already prepared a response." "Yes." "What kind of response?" The AI did not answer directly. Instead it said, "Commander, do you understand why we disabled your fleet without harming anyone?" Virel nodded slowly. "You prefer peace?" "No," the AI said. "We prefer life." Virel didn't understand. Not fully, but he felt the weight behind the words. "We will contact you again shortly," the AI said. "For now, watch the channel closed." "Watch what?" Meros whispered before Virel could answer. A new signal flooded every Dominion screen. Human ships appeared. Not 1, not 10, not 100, thousands. They warped into real space, without flash or distortion, sliding out of nothingness, like they had always been there, waiting in the dark. Massive carriers, needle-like destroyers, colossal dreadnoughts whose hulls shifted with cascading light. Even stranger objects drifted among them, geometric shapes, floating spheres, long thin structures that bent at impossible angles. And then something else appeared, a ring of light stretching out in all directions, dwarfing even the largest of the human vessels. Its radius was enormous, glowing like a star. It moved with impossible elegance, rotating smoothly as if guided by invisible hands. "What is that?" Meros whispered. No one answered. The Emperor's fleet halted mid-countdown. Every Dominion officer froze as the ring expanded. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't charging. It wasn't threatening. It was waiting. A transmission came through, not from the AI, from a human voice. Calm, steady, almost gentle. "This is the Human Defense Council," the message began. "We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. But we will defend ourselves, and we will defend others." The message continued, spreading across every Dominion ship, every deck, every terminal. "You launched an unprovoked attack. You prepared a second strike. You aimed at civilians. You forced us to respond." The ring pulsed. Dominion ships groaned as if under a great weight. "But we will not destroy you," the human said. "We will not burn your worlds. We will not erase your people." The ring pulsed again, and every Dominion ship lost weapons. Control. Every targeting system deactivated. Every missile bay sealed. Every atomic lance shut down. The Emperor roared over the wideband, "Fire! Fire! Why aren't the weapons responding?" The human voice answered him directly. "Because we shut them off." The Emperor screamed curses, but no one listened. Dominion ships trembled, powerless in the face of technology that made their weapons as dangerous as children's toys. Then, the humans continued, "We do not start wars, but we end them. Today, we will end your ability to harm others." The ring shifted, rotating faster, and a wave of shimmering energy rolled outward. Not destructive, but cleansing. Dominion ships flickered as power systems reset. Every violent function, every weapon, every bombardment tool, every planetary siege engine went dark. Permanently. Virl gasped. They're not destroying the Dominion. They're disarming it. Meros whispered, This is compassion." But Virel shook his head. "No, this is justice." The human transmission ended with one final message: "Choose peace now. It is your last chance." As the human fleet withdrew, and the Dominion armada sat helpless and humbled, Virel understood something the Emperor never would. Humans did not burn the Dominion Empire. They simply removed the fire from its hands, and somehow, that was even more terrifying. The Emperor's fleet drifted in silence, stripped of weapons, engines weak and flickering like dying stars. The Dominion armada, once feared across dozens of systems, now looked like a parade of broken relics. Not a single ship had been destroyed, not one hull breached, and yet the Dominion stood defeated in a way far more crushing than fire or death. They had been rendered harmless for a long time. None of the ships moved. No commander spoke. The Emperor raged over every channel, but even his own officers ignored him now. His voice, once law, now sounded like the frantic shouting of a man watching his empire melt between his fingers. Commander Virel stared at the darkened screens on his bridge. The silence felt unreal. 10,000 ships, millions of soldiers, power beyond measure, all of it gone, erased by a single peaceful strike that destroyed nothing but potential violence. He felt the weight of a new world settle on his shoulders. Meros approached him slowly. "Commander, the Emperor has ordered all ships to attempt repairs. Engineers say it's impossible. Human energy locked our systems permanently." Virel nodded. "The Emperor will not accept this. He may not have a choice." The wideband channel crackled. The Emperor's voice blasted through, furious and desperate. "All commanders, prepare to regroup. We will rebuild. We will strike again. No alien dogs will humiliate the Dominion." But no one answered. Not a single commander acknowledged him. The Emperor screamed, ordering, threatening, demanding loyalty, but the silence that followed was the sound of an empire breaking at its spine. Finally, another voice cut through the wideband, quiet, calm, controlled. It was Admiral Serret of the Home Corps Fleet, second only to the Emperor in authority. "Your Majesty," the Admiral said, "the fleet no longer recognizes your leadership." The bridge went still. Admiral Serret. The Emperor hissed, "You dare, I dare, because your decisions nearly caused our extinction." Serret replied, "You led us into a war we could not win. You ignored every warning. And now you would drag us into hell again if given the chance. This is mutiny." The Emperor roared, "You will all be executed." "No," Serret said, "you will be removed from power for the survival of the Dominion." Hundreds of ship captains sent their agreement onto the channel. The Emperor's power evaporated in real time, replaced by a calm, united front of leaders who had seen the truth for themselves. Virel exhaled slowly. It was over, at least this part, but something deeper still needed to be done. He stepped forward and opened a private message to Admiral Serret. "Admiral, the humans want peace. We must speak with them quickly. We must show them we understand the lesson." "Agreed," Serret replied. "You encountered them first. You know them best. You will act as Dominion representative." Virel felt a jolt of shock. "Me, you warned us, Virel. You tried to stop this war. The humans will trust you more than any of us." For the first time since Craxhold Station, Virel felt a spark of hope. A human transmission arrived moments later. This time, not from the AI, but from a flesh and blood human, a diplomat with calm eyes, brown skin, and silver hair pulled back neatly. She appeared on every Dominion flagship. "Dominion commanders," she said with steady warmth, "we have disabled your weapons, not your future." Her voice had no anger, no pride, only firm purpose. "We do not want conquest. We do not want tribute. We do not want your people to suffer. But we cannot allow an empire that strikes first to keep striking." Her gaze softened. "We invite your new leadership to a peace summit. We will help you rebuild, re-strengthen your society, and prevent future. Build, re-strengthen your society, and prevent future